The film begins with an old video clip from the 1982 Tron movie in which Kevin appears. He explains that the world inside a game is a completely different universe, where humans, with the help of programs, can accomplish anything that seems impossible. He says that in the future, people will be able to enter that game world themselves and experience everything firsthand. A few years later, he adds, humans might even be able to bring things from that digital world into the real one. But during that same period, Kevin mysteriously disappears. Kevin had created two famous games, Tron and Space Paranoids, along with Ed Dillinger. However, due to ownership disputes, the rights to both games were separated. Kevin's company, Encom, eventually came under the control of his daughters Eve and Tess, while Kevin's son Sam had already left the company. This whole backstory was shown in the 2010 film Tron Legacy. Ed Dillinger's company was now in the hands of his grandson, Julian Dillinger, a brilliant and ambitious young man. Encom and Dillinger's company had become direct rivals. Both were competing to use the rapidly advancing field of artificial intelligence to make the world a better place. As the story progresses, Julian creates a special program inside his game world called the Grid. Using that same code, he designs a powerful warrior and names him Ares. Julian makes thousands of such Ares-like soldiers fight each other to identify the strongest one. According to the rules of the game, if a soldier dies, he can be revived from the core. Gradually, Ares becomes so perfect that Julian begins to communicate with him. Through the code, Julian tells Ares that he is his creator and the master of his world. Hearing this, Ares vows eternal loyalty to Julian. Meanwhile, in Alaska, Eve appears. She arrives at a secluded facility filled with computer systems that once belonged to her late sister Tess. Tess had worked on Encom's core systems before her mysterious death, and now Eve was running the company. Eve's assistant, Chad, accompanies her. She activates her father Kevin's old game drives to examine the hidden codes inside them. At the same time, Julian holds a meeting with his shareholders, where he proudly announces that he has discovered a technology that can bring any object from the game world into the real world. He activates a laser system, which materializes a massive vehicle from the digital grid into reality. The vehicle is equipped with futuristic technology and deadly weapons. Julian then brings Ares himself into the real world, a futuristic soldier from the game realm. Ares scans all the humans around him. He can identify them through their data. Julian proudly declares that Ares is a soldier who neither needs food nor water and can fight in any form. Even if he dies, he can be revived. Ares, however, begins to sense something strange. He looks up and sees rain, something that doesn't exist in his world. This moment becomes significant later in the film's climax. The investors, deeply impressed, urge Julian to complete the program soon so that these AI soldiers can be used in military operations. Julian promises to finish it within months, but as soon as everyone leaves, both Ares and the vehicle vanish. They can only exist in the real world for 29 minutes. That was the limit of Julian's code. He vows to create a permanent version of the code that will allow things from the grid to exist permanently in reality. Julian's mother, Denny, who was Ed's daughter, warns him that this idea is dangerous because these programs don't understand humanity. Julian argues that only by bringing them into the real world can they learn how safe or dangerous they truly are. Meanwhile, Eve continues working on her grandfather's old code, the same one he had written back in 1982. She fixes its flaws and activates it. During the process, she discovers a DNA-based code that can keep any digital entity permanently alive in the real world. She decides to test it by using her laser system to bring a digital tree into reality. She observes whether the tree disappears after 29 minutes or remains. Hours pass and the tree stays intact. It doesn't vanish. This proves that Eve has created a permanent connection between the digital and real worlds. Julian, monitoring everything, hacks into Encom's system to access her core. Denny tries to stop him, but Julian refuses to back down. Meanwhile, Ares and his assistant Athena are given a special team. Ares shares his experiences of the real world, expressing his desire to feel emotions. Julian orders an attack on Encom's grid. Ares and his team infiltrate Eve's server room, eliminating the guards and attempting to steal the code. While doing so, Ares watches videos of Eve and becomes fascinated by her gentle and compassionate nature.
eventually falling in love with her. When Julian realizes that Ares has started developing emotions, he becomes worried, but continues using him.
Eve's colleague Amit informs her that the server has crashed and warns that Julian might have hacked their company. Eve reassures him that the code is safe. Meanwhile, Ares keeps rewatching Eve's videos, his love for her deepening. He learns that Eve's sister Tess had died of cancer, and for the first time, he understands her pain. Soon after, Julian brings Ares and Athena back into the real world again. They have only 29 minutes to find Eve. They track her using hacked surveillance systems. Eve realizes something is wrong as the police start chasing her. In an intense chase sequence, Eve and Ares' bikes collide. Eve ultimately breaks the drive into two pieces and throws them into the water. Ares begs for the permanent code, but Eve lies that it's been destroyed. As the 29 minutes expire, Ares convulses and vanishes. Julian attacks Eve with a laser gun, causing her body to turn into binary code, transferring her consciousness into the game world. Denny furiously confronts Julian, accusing him of endangering both humanity and the company, but Julian remains unmoved. Inside the digital world, Ares finds Eve's ring and uses it to resurrect her. Eve wakes up in the grid, shocked by her surroundings. Ares explains everything. Julian, now desperate, orders Athena to delete both Eve and Ares if necessary. Athena attacks, but Ares protects Eve. They escape toward the main source core to find a portal back to Earth. Ares defeats Athena's guards and leaps into the portal, bringing Eve back into the real world. However, they still have very little time before Ares disappears again. Julian tells Ares that he still only has 29 minutes to live. Despite that, Ares flees with Eve. Julian appoints Athena as his new primary AI commander and sends her to retrieve the code. Athena launches an aerial assault. Meanwhile, Ares and Eve reach the Encom offices, searching for Kevin's old game data. Eve sends Ares into the old game grid to find the code. By now, their love for each other is genuine and strong. Athena attacks the office, but Eve manages to overpower her. However, her body begins to disintegrate in the rain. She cannot withstand the real-world elements. She dies, her final moments echoing the tragedy of artificial beings yearning for life. Inside the game, Ares encounters Kevin's AI version. Kevin speaks to him, and moved by Ares' humanity, gives him a DNA code that can make him permanently human. Meanwhile, Amit and Chad activate a virus code to destroy Julian's digital world. Athena, before dying, creates a massive warship and launches a devastating attack on the real world. The military intervenes, but her assault is catastrophic. Ares returns to Earth through the portal with the new DNA code. Athena captures Eve, but Ares arrives just in time. He throws his blue disc, destroying Athena's ship. Amit and Chad activate the virus, causing Julian's entire digital world to collapse. Ares and Athena fight one last time. Ares wins, but before dying, Athena says that her kind also deserves the right to live. Ares gently supports her as she fades away. Police arrive to arrest Julian, but he uses the laser system to transfer himself into the game world. His mother Denny's body is later found in his office. In the end, Ares and Eve are injured but alive. Eve vows to guide her company in the right direction. Ares says he wants to understand the world and live a real life. Sometime later, news reports reveal everything that happened. Eve continues running Encom, remembering her sister Tess. One day, she receives a letter from Ares. In it, he writes that he was traveling the world trying to understand humans and that he is now searching for a new figure named Cora. Eve smiles, realizing that the connection between the two worlds has truly begun.